Here's our filly. We call her Revelations. She's by Van Nistelrooy, a really nice horse that was sold as a yearling at $6.5 million in the Keeneland Select sales. The last official ones that were in 2001. Now they joined those select sales up with the normal sales. The year before this, it was Fazzy Hoochie Pegasus, who sold for $6 million. She comes out of a mare called Sherston, who is by Fly So Free, out of a Stafford Farms mare, Overcharger. Anyway, you can look up the rest of the lineage on YouTube if you like. I've been so busy with other horses that every time things get schematic, I let down on her because so far she is like a white sheet of paper. I've been doing long reining on and off with her for almost a year now. So if you understand, long reining goes to the very inner core muscles, and galloping on the track goes from the outside in, just like sport horses go from getting on the horse, warming them up. You're going from the outside in. By no means do I officiate or condone taking a horse in this stance or nomenclature for the first time, because you would have blown hocks, curbs, a lot of problems. But she is a precocious filly at best. I haven't put any speed in her yet, and I know she's quick because I've been on the track galloping her, and she is very, very quick. We're going to the left here, and like a lot of horses, sport horses of all breeds, thoroughbreds, their weaker hind leg 9 times out of 10 are their right hind. Old horsemen said it's because of the way they curl up in the womb. I don't know if that's a wise tale or not, but I have to say, well, if they curl up to the left in the womb of a mare, and with technology today we can actually verify that, then the longer muscles are on the outside and the shorter muscles are on the left side of the body, meaning when they come out, their short reflexes are going to be coming off that left hind, and their longer, more spaghetti noodles are going to be coming off the right. And when babies grow up in the field, they want to show off and run with the flock and do all their spinning and bucking and stuff off the hind leg, just as you would if you want to take a pen and write really quickly. You're going to put it in the hand that is the easier of the two hands. Not that you can't write with both hands, but very few people are ambidextrous. I've only met 2 or 3 horses that were ambidextrous behind, and thank God they had really, really wonderful minds, because taking this filly out today, it was the first day that I had, and I've gone to a place where I can really relax and breathe. I don't have all the politics, and this is a wonderful round pen because it's 75 feet in diameter, meaning When this filly or a horse relaxes, I can put them at the breath, so they're not having to really work. So when they relax, and I go to the breadth of the diameter of this round pen, then I'm not putting any stress on their joints or any stress on any muscles. In her case, she has fast and long reflexes, this filly, which in racing is a great thing. You'll notice I put my left hand up because this is her weak side, and the weak side being the right, coming off the right hind, which outside hind. What horses do is they drop their opposite shoulder, because the right hind is not picking up the power takeoff that the left hind, which in this case is the inside leg, does. So in the physics of things, if you draw a picture of a horse and 100 to 150 pounds is on the front end, 20 pounds maybe the bone in the tail, the physics of it is much like taking your mop or your broom and balancing it on your finger. So their weaker hind leg, outside hind leg, which is going to keep the haunches straight and true for the forehand, both shoulders. Well, whatever the weakest is, the opposite shoulder will want to drop. That's why a lot of times, 70-80% of the time, the foreleg in racing, in America anyway, is trashed on a good running horse, will be trashed first on that left foreleg. Because when they come around, especially a second turn, they're doing 40 miles per hour times centrifugal force. So they've already done one turn. Now they're tired. Now they're really bearing down on the whatever quality of training they've had. And when the haunches throw themselves out on that second turn, all the body weight is absorbed by the left foreleg. Thus, after X amount of races, that's the one that the joints get trashed the fastest. So all the racehorses that I do, or I've been doing for almost 30 years now, prepping, not saddling, I've been prepping most of my life, is really building up the right hind. And the more free I've gotten in the last, 14, 15 years, I've even taken these horses out and cantered them on the left lead to the right in big circles so they can keep their balance, because much of them are 2, maybe coming 3 years old, and you don't want to do the dressage circle. But all of dressage was to build up a horse for a Grand Prix. Unfortunately, a lot of dressage people have gotten into the matrix of a 10-meter circle or a 20-meter circle. Forget about how many meters you are. As a matter of fact, go in a field and just balance your horse, because a 3-meter circle is really easy when a horse is balanced. Pirouettes are really easy when a horse is balanced. When they're off balance, that's when you go to the roker junk that you see. That's when you go to these people. Now, one of the reasons why she's bucking and stuff is because I'm making her work. This is not a beginner horse. She's already been doing this for a year. She's very precocious. She's bred to be precocious. Racehorses have to be precocious. She'll even bite at me sometimes while I'm working her. You want them to be precocious, because when they're coming up the lane and there's 8, 10, 14 other horses, is pretty big moment. And if you don't have a horse that tells you where to stick it or stuff, then I'm sorry, folks, you don't really have a really great racehorse. You have to have a horse that, like Stormcat, who savages his groom, savages everybody every morning. You don't want to take that away from him because they're independent out there. If you notice her tail, and this is what I really want you dressage and hunter jumper people to watch, I'm working her hocks off now. She's having to do shoulder in on the circle. You'll notice I'm putting my hand up, keeping her head above. She's barely 3 years old, and so the nomenclature, the stance I'm doing is pretty much in Germany, 6, 7, sometimes 8 years old before they put them in that frame. But in her case, I'm not doing it for a dressage test. I'm doing it for the muscling and the body carriage to be an athlete. So when I do drop her in on the rail, as they say in racing, when she does go 40 miles an hour, she's not thinking 40 miles an hour. It's much like a race car driver. If you ever get to speak to anybody that's raced cars or motorcycles or anything of the like, they're not really thinking fast. They're reacting. But the audience says, oh my God, look how fast they're going. The actual driver in the race, and in this case the horse, when you don't overface your horse, and that means in jumpers going with the bar to it, it's overfacing the psychology. If they understand where their balance is from, everything slows down. Now she's going out a little bit. She's very much on the muscle. She's in a new place, and she can sort of smell and see a little bit between those the round pin there, and I've always, like I said earlier, given her the status and the self governing factor of being wild. So I want her to be as aware as possible. See how far I bring her haunches in? And as I bring her haunches in, I raise my left hand, so I free the left shoulder. So, and even though she canters, that's good. As long as the haunches are square and the vertebrae is straight. If I have to bring the neck out, now in the next, I would say 4 to 8 days, you're not going to see that neck counter bent like that. But I'm removing the weight, and I'm using the wall, and I'm using the outside rein to keep her haunches, her haunches square and her vertebrae straight. That's what's so bad about lunging. If I took her in and made her look pretty from the neck, which seems to me most people want to look pretty, her whole forehand, she would be digging a hole to China with her left foreleg. Her haunches would be going to Hong Kong, because the centrifugal force, even though we're at the jog, is enough so, and also it's not just the fact that she doesn't have the capability, it's also she has the mind to do what she wants. So a lot of horses that have grown up using one hind leg or the other to show off to their herd, their mind, especially in the thoroughbred breed, is going to do the least amount of work. They're not going to volunteer it. You can ask for it, but in race horses, and I would say, I would go to the point of saying, in making a Grand Prix horse, you never want to interfere with their independence.